All right, so for my bag portrait project for EDLEA 838 for fall 2018, I just want to go and start with the two different sides. So what I keep hidden from the world, and then what I show the world. And I'll talk about what I have inside of my bag. Um, so with what I like to show to the world, or what I broadcast to everyone. So first off, energy. I like to think I'm pretty hyperactive, maybe a little too active at times, but I think having energy is really, really important. Just not only with what you're doing or who you're interacting with, but just it driving that passion behind whatever you're doing and why. My faith, I like to say I'm pretty open about it. Whenever people ask me questions about my philosophy or anything, I always just try and tie my faith back into it. Of course, with working in the student affairs field, there is that political aspect that you have to navigate, but on a personal level, I would like to think that I broadcast that on a pretty open level. Positivity. So like to be in a I like to say I'm in a good mood a majority of the time. Even when I'm down, I like to quote unquote fake it till you make it. And so definitely that trait has gotten me through some tough times, even at times where I thought that I would fail or that I'm like, I really should be upset right now, but it's not going to change anything. That's just when I like to try and exude that positive trait. The movie theater. So I've worked there since I was 16. So it was my very first job in the workforce. Started on my birthday. um, but I work there now as well. In addition to my role at the university, I work there on weekends. I do human resources and recruitment, but the theater, it's kind of become a real big part of my identity, part of my fabric of like who I am. And so whenever people refer to me, like people that I meet in the community or whatever, they say, "Oh yeah, I've probably seen it in the movie theater." I'm like, "Yep, you probably have." So I'm glad to be able to continue to have that experience to build upon. So these are my bad drawings of stick figures, but students. So of course, with being in the student affairs industry or the student affairs area for higher ed, you work with a lot of students, and so I'm so thankful that I have my students, and so I always try and bring students in to be kind of the center of whatever my intention is. Whatever I do, I'm doing it for the students who I'm talking to. I hope I'm talking to students at some point. So it's all about the students. Just cater to what they need to help them grow and develop, so that they can be better people in the workforce, and so that they can continue to impact, and so that they can and hopefully impact others as they go on. Fraternity. So I joined a fraternity right when I came to K-State. For my undergrad in 2009. I joined Delta Sigma Phi. That's what these symbols are. But I've had a great collegiate experience due to my involvement with Greek life. It's definitely helped pave the way to what I'm doing now with what I'm doing now with higher ed. And so if I wouldn't be where I wouldn't be where I am today without being in a fraternity. So I'm very thankful for that experience and whatnot. Community. I care deeply about community engagement, and so with the different things I'm involved in, part of that involves being on a couple of community boards, just as a way to give back. I was born and raised here in Manhattan, and so I've definitely valued my time here, and I like to try and pay it forward and pay it back, and so just giving back to a community that has given me so much. Love, I think that love is at the center of almost everything. Everything that you're doing should be with love, with intent. And I'd like to think that with all the things that I do, I put love into it to kind of give that extra oomph to make it work. So I drew a calendar and a clock for time management. I like to maximize my time. I'd like to say I'm very, very busy, but the good kind of busy, not just busy just to say I'm busy, actually having meetings with students or with community groups or something to try and advance an agenda, try to move forward with certain projects, just always taking advantage of what time we have while we have it. Scientific technology, this is supposed to be a picture of an iPhone, but it doesn't really look like it. But I care deeply about scientific technology. The way my brain works, it's very workflow engineering side, and so caring how things work and what's the best way to get them done. I just love everything about technology, how it helps advance us as student affairs professionals, but how it also advances the world of education, higher ed that we're in. So yeah, I care a lot about that, and I just hope it continues to develop and grow as we go on. I drew these justice scales here just for fairness and equality. I wouldn't say I'm strictly like black and white when it comes to the rules, but I definitely value when things are equitable and, like why does this person get one thing and why does this person get another thing? I just care about everyone being treated fairly and on the same level. Hard work. So I drew shovels there. That's what that's what those are supposed to be. But I value hard work. I like to try and put my all into everything I do, even when it's not necessary. But I value hard work because I think that if you're willing to put in the hard work now, then that definitely helps with the payoff later, later in life. So on the back, with what I hide from the world or what I keep hidden, first off, I have other emotions. So like the sad face, flustered face, straight face. Not that I don't think it's important to show these other emotions to people. I think just over time, what I've gathered is what works best is people seeing me happy. So what doesn't work best is that people seeing me in a state other than happiness. So I kind of hide all the old ones. I kind of hide all the non-happy ones and just show the good ones. Kind of relates back to what we were saying in class a couple weeks ago with what we show to the world and what we don't. I definitely would like to say I only show the happy side of things to the world. I drew my house. I think of my house as kind of like a sanctuary. It's my space, my safe space. I don't have to worry about anyone else being in. With that, another reason why I have my house is that it's really messy. And so it's not really in a state that people could just come over and like hang out and whatnot. I'm very, very like meticulous and it has to be clean. It has to be perfect and whatnot. Cause I just don't want to be judged in that way of, oh, this is how you live. And it's like, I really don't, I mean, but I don't have time to clean or anything. So, yeah, my house. Say no. I like to say to keep that from the world. I don't really like to say no to things. I always just like to try and help in whatever way I can. Or someone asks me to do something, I always like to do yes. And if not yes, then how long until I can say yes? Something I'm definitely trying to work on because I know you can't say yes to everything. But it's something that I struggle with, to be honest, and how I can hopefully learn from that and move forward with it. Music. So I put this on here for what I hide from the world. I love listening to music, but I listen to music on an emotional level to vibe with emotionally and whatnot. I mean, I love a good radio tune as much as the next person, but whether when I'm studying or if I am in a certain mood, I use music in a different way to channel that. And that's just something I just kind of keep to me, myself, and I. My family I have on here. I wouldn't say that like I'm ashamed of my family or anything. It's just, I think everyone has a particular picture or a particular view of how a family should be. And so when it's not that, then it's either your family has surpassed that or your family has not met that level of what you think it should be at. And so I know that like with my relation to my family, I wouldn't say it's estranged or anything. It's just I have my own goals and what things I want to accomplish. And as of right now, my family is involved with that, but not involved too much to the core. And so like I never really talk about my family that much. Again, not because I don't want to, just it's not exactly relevant to the work that I'm doing. And so yeah. So I have a stick figure drawn of my thoughts and emotions. And so I like to keep some of my personal feelings and thoughts just to myself. I just don't think it's important, especially with the work that I'm doing. A lot of the work that I do, it's very like what's happening, like what am I seeing? What am I reacting to? Not really, well, this is what I think, this is what et cetera, et cetera. Of course, when I'm putting my creative spin on things, then of course my opinion and thoughts come into play. But other than that, my deeper thoughts about certain things, whether it's politics or whatever, I just keep to myself. Health and fitness. I like to keep my health to myself. I don't like to work out with anyone. I think it stems back maybe from a little bit of insecurity issues, of like working out with other people, of like, I'm weaker than you, so no, I don't want to weight lift with you because you'll be able to lift the heavier stuff than I could, or no, I don't want to go running with you. You can run 2 miles in like 15 minutes. I can barely run 2 miles in like a day. So yeah, health and fitness is just kind of what I keep to myself. And then there's supposed to be myself drawn with an eye, so like me looking at myself in the mirror, but it's just me time. I wouldn't say that I have a lot of me time, but when I do have it, it's again just what I like to keep for myself, what I like to just have for me. Um, I never really let people know when I do have me time. I kind of just let it happen, and then if I need to shut my office door for a second, or if I go home and not leave once I do get back home, that sort of thing. I'm kind of internalize all that. So now I have my what's inside my bag, and so I try to go home to find some things, and I just recently moved, and so it was a little hard to do that. So, but what I did though, I went onto Instagram, and I use Instagram as a way to like capture some of the big moments in life and how that's helped define me. And so I just have a couple pictures here, going from most recent to oldest, that kind of help put the pieces together of like who I am as a person. So like what's inside of me. So inside the bag. So here's a picture of when I bought my house. Bought one early this year. That was a big achievement for me, so I was very, very happy about that. Here's a picture of my fraternity. I've already mentioned it before, but my fraternity has just given so much to me, and I now serve the fraternity as an advisor here at K-State, so I'm hoping that I'm able to pay it back to the guys that are current members now. Picture of me at the movie theater. This is when I celebrated my 10th year anniversary there. It's just me doing a jump in midair. But I think it's great to have been able to say that you've been anywhere for 10 years. I think it says a lot about like perseverance, growth, getting through tough times, even when you've wanted to give up. Because there were definitely times when I was working there, or there was definitely times during my period working there where I'm like, this isn't worth it. I can just quit and go somewhere else. But I'm glad I stuck it out. And now I can like say I have 10 years worth of industry experience on my resume, which I think is awesome. Here's a picture of me graduating with my master's. I value education. And so it's something that I just want to keep going, which is one of the reasons why I'm working on my doctorate. I've been in school ever since I started kindergarten. So it's just been a straight shot for me. And just being able to continue that, I think, is just a blessing in itself. So there's a picture of me when I got my job at the Alumni Association. I started at the Alumni Association in 2016, but this is me right by the walkout statue outside on the Johnson Terrace, right by the World War I Memorial Stadium. This is a really big defining moment for me. It was when like this is the job that I'm currently in. It's like my first like full-time student affairs job, and so I've grown a lot with being in this position, and it's just been amazing. And so I can't wait to continue to grow in this area, especially being able to stay at K-State. This is a picture from high school. This was when I posted it as a throwback Thursday, but this picture is from high school. Is when I was prom king. This picture stuck out to me just as a fond memory, just of like the relationships I had with people in high school. I didn't really like to put myself in a clique, if you will, and so I definitely just try to be friends with everyone. And how prom king works at our school, prom king and queen, everyone has a chance to vote for who they want to be it, and so I think it was just a nice intrinsic feeling just to be voted by the people to have that title. And so I've just been very thankful for that. And it was a very humbling experience to be able to accept that at prom, my senior prom. And so it definitely just helps me think of how I relate to and react and treat others, and how it can really go a long way. If you treat others the way you can be treated, what benefits that can bring you. Okay. Next picture is me working. I used to work at Hollister in the mall. This is it was a actual shot that we submitted to our home office for something. I don't know what it was, but this is another Throwback Thursday photo. I worked at Hollister from 2008 to 2010. And so, yes, that does mean that I did work both at Hollister and at the movie theater at the same time. I think I've held 2 jobs ever since I started working in general. I hold 2 jobs now. But the reason why I have this picture in there, it's just to talk about my retail experience. It was fun. I think working here, though, has definitely helped to give me some quote-unquote style points for like the wardrobe that I choose to have and whatnot. And so yeah. Okay, this is a picture of me and then like 2 of my best friends, Chase and Lindsay. I was actually in their wedding when they got married at the end of 2016, which was awesome. But this is a picture of us a couple years ago at our fraternity formal for all of our senior years, I think. Or no, that's not correct. I was starting my master's, and then they, I think, were sophomores, juniors at that time. But yeah, these two have been like my rock. They've been with me through a lot of times, good and bad. And they're two people that I feel like I can open up to, so I can show this side of my bag. This side of my world to them. So yeah, they've just been so amazing, and I think we're all on the same level when in relation to treating people how you'd want to be treated and whatnot. And so I have so much respect for them, and I love them so much. So this picture is of the Union Expo and Activities Carnival for fall 2014. This was my first big event. I worked in the Office of Student Activities and Services, called OSAS at the time. This was my first big event that I planned as their grad assistant. I became a grad assistant right out of undergrad. I worked in the OSAS office my senior year at K-State. And so they offered me the graduate assistantship when I got accepted into the program for my master's. And so this is, yeah, like I said, this was the first event that I held. I thought it was going to be a bust. I didn't think anyone was going to come, but as the picture shows, there were so many people in attendance, and it just made me feel really good of, all the hard work that I put in to plan it, how it actually showed some real results. So I was really, really happy about that. Okay, and so this is, these are pictures of me. This is a picture that just shows how much you can change within a short amount of time. The left photo was of me in like 2013. The right photo was of me in 2014. As you can see, I had long hair. And I cut it all off because I thought that I wouldn't be able to get a job, or wouldn't be able to get into grad school or whatever if I had long hair. But then, as we can see now, my hair is long now. I have dreadlocks, so as you can see. But I think this really just goes to show you how much you can change, how your outsides can change, but your insides can remain the same. I just think that's really interesting, and I hope that I can continue to grow and change and whatnot, and continue to evolve no matter what, whether it's on the outside or whether it's on the inside. So that is some more about my bag project. I can't wait to learn more from other students in the class, how they thought of this project, this assignment, and what we can do to connect with one another even more. So thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Bye.